Hello, thank you for seeking further information on the Excellent Rating eligibility and application process. Deciding to apply for the Excellent Rating can be a daunting task for some services, so the aim of this presentation is to help you understand the process and support you on the path to celebrating and showcasing excellence. Through the presentation, we will be covering the following points: the purpose of the Excellent Rating, Excellent Rating application and how to get started, understanding the process, understanding the criteria, who can be involved in the application process, and the support that's available to you. The Excellent Rating is the highest rating that can be achieved by a service under the National Quality Framework. ACECQA awards the Excellent Rating to services that demonstrate exceptional education and care, leadership, and a commitment to ongoing excellent practice. Currently, services that have received an overall rating of exceeding national quality standard are eligible to apply to ACECQA for the top honour. From February 2018, services can apply for the Excellent Rating if they have received a rating of exceeding the NQS in all 7 quality areas. Services applying for the Excellent Rating must demonstrate exceptional education and care, leadership, and a commitment to continuing improvement and forward planning. Being rated as exceeding NQS tells us that your service has already gone beyond what is necessary to meet the national quality standard. The Excellent Rating is what makes your service exemplary and a leader among your peers. When you write your application, you will need to explain what makes your service exceptional, how your influence extends beyond your service, and how you will sustain excellent practice. The purpose of the Excellent Rating is to celebrate excellence in the delivery of education and care, to engage and involve families and the community in the profession's discussion about quality and what is important in education and care, to learn from and be inspired by examples of highly accomplished practice, innovation and creativity, to promote and reinforce the value of education and care and of the people who work in this sector, to recognise providers and educators who are champions of quality improvement. If you're uncertain about applying, here are some points to consider when deciding. You should apply if your practice is well above practice expected in most services, even those rated exceeding NQS. You can clearly set out the reasons why and how you do what you do. You can identify improved outcomes for children and families from your practices. Your influence extends beyond your service. You're committed to continuous improvement. You share your exceptional practice and leadership with the sector or wider community. If you find it difficult to address the criteria, it might not be the right time for you to apply. Once you've received your exceeding NQS rating, you may need some time to develop aspects of your practice, leadership or planning to meet the Excellent Rating criteria. You don't need to rush to submit your application, and if needed, you should take some time before applying. Remember, the changes to the NQF may influence your decision at the moment. It's also important to remember, ACECQA will focus on assessing the quality of your service, not the quality of your application. This means we will consider your service's practices, partnerships, programs, forward planning, commitment to quality improvement, and importantly, how your service improves outcomes for children and families. How you present this information is up to you. Just make sure you provide enough information for ACECQA to assess your service against the criteria. Also, it's not necessary to engage an external consultant to put together your application. You can see by this diagram that the Excellent Rating application is one part of the application assessment process. When you submit an application, you must include the signed application form and a statement addressing each of the criteria. In the statement, you must describe and explain how you meet the criteria and support your statement with examples. The statement is an opportunity to think about and celebrate the hard work and achievements of all involved in the service, and it's a chance to tell us how and why you do what you do. The statement is needed so that ACECQA knows what you think you do best and the programs, practices and partnerships you have, so that we can develop questions about them to discuss with you. ACECQA will contact your regulatory authority to seek its input into the application and the information provided will be taken into consideration when determining your application. After reviewing your application, an ACECQA officer may ask for additional information, and this could be gathered through a teleconference, a site visit, or a written request for further information. ACECQA is required under the national law to complete the assessment and make a decision within 60 days of receiving an application. After the decision is made, ACECQA has 14 days to notify the service along with the regulatory authority of the outcome. To help you begin, this is what the ACECQA Excellent Rating webpage looks like. You'll see the web address on the screen. This webpage provides you with support information and resources to complete the application, including the application form, the application criteria and guidelines, and the IDES model. The Excellent Rating has 3 criteria. For each criterion, a statement and evidence is required. One of the ways you can present the information about your service in your application is by using the IDES model. When addressing each criterion, use the following points in the following orders to form paragraphs. Identify a practice, program or partnership in your service which is outstanding and which best fits the criterion you're addressing. Describe the practice, program or partnership in enough detail to indicate what it consists of and who is involved. Explain how the practice, program or partnership is exceptional. Then explain how it was developed and why. Also explain how your service reflects upon and improves the practice, program or partnership. Finally, explain how the practice, program or partnership improves outcomes for the children and families who attend your service, and how you know this is the case. Lastly, show the practice, program or partnership or its outcome. This is an opportunity to add supporting examples. ACECQA may ask questions about how outcomes for children and families have improved. Lots of additional documentation is not needed. Criterion 1 is that the service exemplifies and promotes exceptional education and care that improves outcomes for children and families across at least 3 themes. Services can choose to present information against 3 or more of the 6 themes shown on the screen. How many themes you choose is up to you. You need to be able to provide enough evidence to prove that your practice, program or partnership is exceptional. Exceptional practice is either creative, unique, one-off, or of the highest quality, where a service is attuned to the circumstances, interests, strengths and needs of the children and families that attend, and targets programs, practices and partnerships to improve outcomes for these children and families. Some applications received to date show that services are sometimes confused about what's meant by these themes, so in a moment I'll go through them individually to explain them a bit further. First, I would like to discuss improved outcomes further. As mentioned, this criterion is about showcasing how your service improves outcomes for children and families. So what do we mean by this? Excellent services can describe how outcomes for the children and families who use the service are improved because of the education and care the service delivers. It's different to the learning outcomes of the approved learning frameworks. It's about how your practices set you apart from other services in meeting the specific interests, circumstances, strengths and needs of children and families. The theme Collaborative Partnerships with Professional, Community or Research Organisations is somewhat different to Quality Area 6 of the National Quality Standard. Collaborative partnership is more than a relationship, link or connection. Services need to explain and show how they have reflected upon the strengths, needs and priorities of the children and families, and targeted partnerships with organisations in response to these, in a way that improves outcomes for children and families. Collaborative partnerships also benefit the service and the other party. The theme Commitment to Children that respects, reflects and celebrates culture and diversity, including place of origin, can have a variety of focuses. Many applications received to date show a focus on culture and/or Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children and families. Diversity is often one that's overlooked in this theme. It's important to remember that with diversity comes a commitment to children regardless of the children's or family's age, gender, ability, religion or family structure. With the theme Inclusive Partnerships with Children and Families, the main confusion applicants seem to have is that inclusive is different to inclusion of children with additional needs. This theme is about partnerships where children and families are included in all aspects of the practices and program. It's where children and families not only participate in the program, but partner with educators to make choices and decisions. For example, children will initiate and lead their own learning, develop goals, make choices, and be included in decisions that could impact on service delivery. Children collaborate with educators and families in making decisions that affect them. Their agency is valued. In addition, families are seen as more than visitors to the service, where they are invited to share a skill or talk to children about their profession. Inclusive partnerships is where families are included in decisions about their child's learning. Their thoughts and ideas are valued, and their feedback is taken into consideration, often leading to a change in practice. When reflecting on your service's positive workplace culture and organisational values, it's important to think about the service's philosophy, goals, and values. A service will enable and encourage equal and inclusive involvement. All team members will be aware of and contribute to unifying organisational values. Hiring practices, employment conditions, and staff supports will reflect the service's organisational values. Also reflect on how your service provides for the team members. When thinking about what you provide for your team, consider if it's over and above what other services provide for their teams. When looking at the theme Practice and Environments that Enhance Children's Learning and Growth, it's important to consider all aspects of the service's environments. That is, you need to consider the planning and programs for indoors and outdoors. This theme is not just about the outdoor program and sustainability. To enhance children's learning and growth, educators in a service must be aware of the capabilities and interests of the children they work with. Children are competent, capable learners when they're fully engaged and supported to participate in meaningful learning experiences that follow their interests. Practice and environments should be intentionally used in planned and spontaneous ways to extend on children's capabilities and interests to enhance learning and growth. The final theme is sustained commitment to professional development and support of educators. This theme is where services can share practices which highlight commitment to supporting educators' personal and professional growth. Services can share how their practices, vision and goals focus on and provide for professional development of educators. Services can also show how they support educators in their role. For example, new educators are mentored. Services need to identify how their practices are over and above what other services might provide and how they've been sustained over time. Let's look at Criterion 2 now. This criterion is about leadership. However, it's different to the NQS Quality Area 7. Excellent services need to have influence that extends beyond their service. While exceeding national quality standard services may have outstanding leadership within the service, excellent services are leaders within the sector, the community, or the local area. They extend their influence to develop their community, local area, or the wider education and care sector. In your statement, you should explain how your service has contributed to or supported the development of a community, a local area, or the education and care sector. Use specific examples of leadership and explain why you engage in this practice, what led you to do what you do, as well as explaining how you do it. Identify and describe any changes that are the direct result of your influence and input. Describe any improved outcomes for children and families that result from your leadership. This is a diagram to help explain the attributes of visionary leaders in excellent rated services who are providing exceptional leadership within the local area, community, or the wider education and care sector. When writing your statement, reflect on the attributes that you and others in the service have used to help other services, organisations, the local area, or communities develop. Let's look at Criterion 3. This criterion is where you show your service's commitment to continuous quality improvement. Excellent services are champions of continuous improvement and are able to demonstrate how they can sustain their commitment to continuous improvement. In your statement, you should explain how you will sustain excellent practice through continuous improvement and comprehensive forward planning. Explain how your service plans for the future and how you will ensure your service is committed to continuous improvement. Providing clearly detailed objectives with timelines and defined roles and responsibilities can ensure quality improvement projects are completed successfully. Provide copies of any planning documents you have. For example, you might use your strategic plan, quality improvement plan, or other planning documents. Please share the documents you use with us. Your commitment to continuous improvement may extend beyond your service. For example, you may encourage continuous improvement in the wider education and care sector by sharing your successes, or act as a mentor to other services. If this is the case, you should tell us. As mentioned earlier, it's not necessary to have your application written by a consultant. When thinking about support in developing the application and statements, it is a good idea for services to undertake the reflection process and to gain insight from others. Working with colleagues, families and children will provide different perspectives and add another dimension to the application. Some services find it a challenge to articulate the service's programs, practices and partnerships. Having others give you their point of view can help you in the process of providing examples. Asking the children what they like most about your service could be a starting point for your application. Finding a peer, mentor or critical friend who can assist in each part of the reflection process could provide an opportunity to discuss ideas and gain feedback. ACECQA provides a range of resources to not only support you through the excellent rating process, but to support you with delivering a quality education and care service. Some of these are the newsletter and web page articles, social media posts and blogs, guides and information sheets, occasional papers, links to resources and relevant organisations, our inquiries line and email. Just head to the ACECQA website to explore the resources available. The Early Childhood Resource Hub has an extensive amount of resources and is free to access. Thinking about what we've discussed today, let's be reminded of the key factors of the excellent rating eligibility and application process. It's an opportunity to showcase the great work you're doing to improve outcomes for children, families and the community. The excellent rating criteria is different to the NQS, and you'll need to consider if the changes to the NQF will impact the timeframe for your application. Also remember that the Participants Handbook has several reflective activities which will assist you in the application process. In addition, we're here to help you. Please call or email anytime. I want to thank you for your time today. Please remember that the application is the easy part. Your commitment to providing exceptional practice that improves outcomes for children and families is the important part. Also remember that the written application is just one part of the application process. ACECQA will involve you in the process and speak with you about your practice. We look forward to receiving your application, celebrating your service.